Hi, let's look at example 2 from lesson 3-4. Use synthetic division to divide by x minus a. What is 2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 4 divided by x minus 3? Use synthetic division. So synthetic division is another method to divide polynomials. It's just like long division, but it's even more simplified. So synthetic division is a method used to divide a polynomial by a linear expression in the form x minus a. And note that the leading coefficient of the divisor is 1 and that a is the 0 of the divisor. So what does that mean? So we're going to make sure that the divisor is in the form x minus a. So if you have the divisor in the form x minus a, you can use synthetic division with your coefficients from the polynomial and the constant value a. So let's see how that works. Let's look at step 1 of this example. So first, look at the 0 of the divisor. We have 3, and the coefficients of the polynomial would be 2, -7, 0, and -4. And make sure that all the terms are present, even though the x term is not there. You have to make sure that you write down the coefficient, okay? So that we know that each term is present, and we solve it by order. So 3 will be the divisor that we will divide by, and 2, -7, 0, -4 represents the coefficients for each terms in the dividend. And so step 2, we're going to bring down the first coefficient. And so 2 is the first leading coefficient, and we know we're going to match x with 2x cubed, so it's always going to be your coefficient. So 2, we just bring it down, and then we multiply 3 times 2 to get 6. Because if we multiply the entire binomial, we're not just going to multiply 2 by x, we're also going to multiply 2 by -3, and then we'll have -6, but we're subtracting that in a long division, right? So it just becomes a positive, and we can just add them, which is -1. And now what do? Step 3, then you multiply 3 times -1. So it's the same process. You get -3, you add them, -3, and then you multiply 3 by -3, you get -9, and you add them, you get -13, and that's your remainder. So you can write this answer as the biggest term you have, the biggest power for your dividend is x cubed, right? So this coefficient 2 represents your x cubed term. So then in order to get your x cubed, you multiply by x squared, right? So this coefficient 2 actually represents your x squared term. And then your factor would include 2x squared minus 1x minus 3, and then the remainder -13 over your divisor x minus 3. Okay, so yeah, so if you divide 2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 4 by x minus 3, you can use synthetic division and get this factor. Alright, so let's practice using synthetic division. It's the same as long division, you're just using the coefficients. So use synthetic division and try number 2 to divide 3x cubed minus 5x plus 10 by x minus 1. Pause the video, see if you can do it by yourself, and come back when you're ready for answers. Okay, are you ready? So try number 2. How are you going to use synthetic division? So make sure all your terms are out there. So you have the x cubed term, right? And then you have 0x squared, and you have -5x, and then you have plus 10. So those are your coefficients. And then your a is -1, right? No, positive 1, right? Because your binomial should be in the form x minus a. So your a here is just positive 1. So you're going to divide by 1. Use synthetic division with 1 and the coefficients 3, 0, -5, and positive 10. And what is your first step? You put the 3 down, right? So step 1, put the first term down, and then you multiply by that number to even get started. So put 3 down, multiply 3 by 1, you get 3, right? Okay, so you have 3 down, you put 3 down, and then multiply 3 by 1, and you get 3, right? And then you add them, you get 3. And then multiply that by 3, and you get 3. And then you add -5 and 3, you get -2. You multiply 1 by -2, and you get -2. You add them, you get positive 8. And that's it. So that's your remainder, positive 8, because that's gonna be your term with the power that is 1 less than your original polynomial that you're dividing it from. So this is going to be your x squared term, and that's going to be your x term. This is going to be your constant term, and then that's going to be your remainder. So how do you write your final answer? You should write it as, let me just write it here, 3x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 8 divided by your your divisor, x minus 1. And so this is your final answer when you divide 3x cubed minus 5x plus 10 by x minus 1. All right, we'll continue with example 3 in the next video.